Yo guys, welcome to the Zelda fiction. Today we are gonna see, what if Naruto got trained by Fem Kyubi and had multi-bloodlines? Part 2. If you end up liking this video, please consider subscribe, so without further ado, let's get into the video. Naruto and Sasuke walked slowly towards Ichiraku's. There was silence between the two as they made their way there, before Naruto gained a curious look and turned to Sasuke. By the way, how did you get to the Hokage monument so quickly? I can sense emotions within a big radius, so I don't know how I couldn't feel you right behind me. Sasuke gained a sheepish look. Well, I kind of copied the Shushin no Jutsu with my Sharingan. It was a much faster way to get around. Ah, that makes sense now, he said. By the way, what was that yellow flash thing you did? She asked. Naruto shook his head. Don't know what you're talking about. Sasuke rolled her eyes. Naruto, I promise not to tell anyone, really. Just tell me. Naruto sighed. You are gonna pester me till I tell you, aren't you? She nodded. Fine. I based it on the 4th Hokage's Hiraishin no Jutsu. It's called the Shunji Shunkinidm. Shunji Shunkinidm? She frowned. Instant teleport. I was 8 when I came up with the idea and the test worked, he shrugged. Cut me some slack. Well, you disappear in a flash of white, come up with something based on that, she ordered. Naruto sighed. Fine, how about Shirokami no Shisma? White God disappearance. She thought about it. I like that, way cooler sounding. Thanks, he chuckled. So Sasuke hesitated. How about we talk about our techniques? If we are gonna be a team we should know our moves, in case of battle. Naruto scratched his chin. Sounds reasonable. They walked into the ramen stand to be greeted by Itachi. Welcome. What can I get you? He asked. Miso ramen for me old man, he smiled. Beef ramen please, Sasuke said. Itachi nodded. Coming right up. Sasuke looked to Naruto. I use the academy style Taijutsu, I know a couple game jutsu, thanks to my Sharingan. I know a few Kaiten techniques and the academy 3 ninjutsu. Your turn. Naruto nodded, he decided not to reveal too much. I use a lost Taijutsu style called P plus Nuken Adori. I use another lost Kenjutsu style called Fujin Adori. I can use Kaiten, Futen, and Suiton. I can use several other ninjutsu besides those. I can use a few high-level game jutsu. And finally I use Fuinjutsu. Sasuke's eyes widened. I haven't even heard of some of those things. Naruto chuckled. I would be surprised if you had. Pinyuken Fire God. The blonde nodded. My sensei knew a lot of lost fighting styles, Pinyuken Adori is just my main Taijutsu style. Wow, their ramen was placed in front of them. The two began eating, Sasuke still surprised by what Naruto told her. Could you? She trailed off. See, could you teach me? Naruto stopped and looked at her. What? I want you to teach me, she repeated. Please. Why do you want me to teach you? I can tell you have been hiding a lot of your skills and you are the only one who has this much knowledge that I know of. So please teach me. Naruto scratched his chin. What do you think? I say teach her, we can get her on our side. Cows said. Much as I hate to admit it, a Sharingan would be hella useful. I'm with Cows, Kurama decided after a moment of silence. I can tell you now that Jonin will teach you very little, so if you teach her she will grow closer to you and follow your orders, not that scarecrow's. Naruto nodded. Okay, I'll teach you. She smiled and hugged the blonde tightly. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Naruto blushed, causing Kurama to growl lightly and Cows to blow up with laughter. You're welcome, Sasuke. She held the hug for a little longer until she realized what she was doing. She blushed heavily and broke the hug. Yeah, so wanna train after we finish eating? Naruto nodded. Yeah, I'd like that. The two began eating once again. Naruto ate much slower than he usually would. Oh no, Naruto. Naruto looked to her. Yeah. What made you leave for 7 years? Naruto frowned and sighed. On my 5th birthday, I was beaten heavily by the villagers, I nearly died. But I was saved by the Anbu. I woke up in a hospital and spoke with the Hokage. He took me to get new clothes, weapons, etc. Then we went to his personal training ground. Sasuke's eyes widened. Nobody was allowed to go there except the Hokage and the people he trained with. Yet Naruto could. It was incredible, but also unfair, and I unlocked my chakra. After that I made a Kaibushin which took my place for 7 years. I trained, and here I am. But why would the villagers beat you? She asked, confused. Naruto smiled sadly. Because the Yondaime wasn't able to kill the Kyuubi and instead sealed it inside a newborn baby. What does that have to do with this? What day did the Kyuubi attack? He asked. October 10th, she said instantly. And when is my birthday? Oktober, she gasped. You mean? Yes, I was that baby. He told her. The Kyuubi was sealed inside of me. She looked at him for a long time and Naruto shifted uncomfortably. Maybe she would be like the rest and shun him. Maybe she would beat him too. Maybe she would. How dare they? She screamed, which shocked Naruto. They beat you just cause of something beyond your control, you were made a scapegoat, that is unfair. She subconsciously activated her Sharingan, her two tomo spinning wildly. Naruto was shocked, nobody had spoken like that before, other than the old man. But even the Hokage didn't get this angry on his behalf. It made Naruto happy. But wait, she frowned. Why do you still care for this village if they beat you so much? Personally, I would destroy them all. Naruto smiled sadly. Because that would just prove them right, that I am the Kyuubi I am not though. I am Uzumaki Naruto, the protector of Konoha, a proud shinobi. For now at least he thought, which caused cows and Kurama to cackle. Sayuko looked at him before sighing and deactivating her Sharingan. If you say so. But you need to know you aren't alone anymore. I'm here if you need me. We are friends, right? Naruto smiled. I'd like that. Sayuko smiled as well. The two finished off their ramen. Training? She asked. Training, Naruto agreed, and the two walked together to the training grounds. One who shapes the future. Over the next month, Team 7 did their training, if you could call it that. They did team exercises to build trust between each other. These exercises included throwing a ball to each other with blindfolds on, falling back to be caught, etc. Sasuke felt insulted that they wasted time doing this, he was an uchiha elite, he did not need this. He should be doing dangerous missions to build his rep and make Itachi fear him. Sayuko was annoyed, she could have been training with Naruto, getting stronger, but this was wasting her time. Naruto was mutual about this, and Sakura thought this was normal for fresh genin teams. They did D-rank missions too, which Naruto pretty much did single-headedly with Sayuko. It was thanks to them Team 7 had the record for catching Tora in record time, 10 minutes 37 seconds. That was including the time it took them to take the mission and locate Tora. Sasuke and Sakura didn't do any of the work, Sasuke thinking it wasn't worthy of him, and Sakura following his example. This meant Naruto and Sayuko had to work without help, as a two-genin cell, which they preferred. The team had just brought Tora back to her owner, the Fire Daimyo's wife. Oh thank you. She said happily. Without my Tora I don't know what I would do. Tora looked in pain and crying, which made everyone in the room, other than Sasuke and Sakura, feel sympathy for the poor cat. Serves you right, devil cat. Sasuke thought, grinning. Naruto sighed. Excuse me, miss. Yes, young man. She responded, turning towards Naruto. I think the reason Tora keeps running away is you are showing it too much love, he told her, saying it in such a way that he wouldn't get in trouble. Don't rub your cheek against Tora's so vigorously for one, do it gently. Also, let her lay in your palm and scratch her between the ears. She blinked before trying it. Tora purred loudly, enjoying the feeling. Oh my, how wonderful. Tora has never done that. Naruto smiled. If you do this, Tora will run away less often, and also do not feed her too much, eating food at the proper times will do fine. In addition, go on walks with her every so often, so she can get some exercise. The daimyo's wife nodded and gave the Hokage 3 times the amount she usually paid for the mission, before leaving the room with a purring Tora. Once she was gone, everyone looked towards Naruto. What? Naruto, Hiruzen sounded strangled. Do you know what you just did? I saved every team in the future the torture of chasing that cat, Naruto responded. Hiruzen looked at him. But nobody has been able to convince her to do that. How did you manage it? Naruto shrugged. Kurama-sensei taught me how to think fast and be a good talker. Sarutobi sighed. Of course, should have known. Kurama-sensei? Sakura asked. Sarutobi froze, but Naruto kept his cool. My personal sensei, a retired Konoha shinobi. She taught me everything I know. Is she the one that taught you all those kaiten jutsu you showed me? Sayuko asked. I didn't even know some of those existed. Kakashi raised an eyebrow, Sasuke gave his sister an odd look, and Sakura well she was looking at Sasuke. What do you mean? Kakashi asked. Naruto sighed. Sayuko and I have been training together over the last month, well it's more like I've been her sensei. Sayuko looked sheepish. Yeah, I tried to fight him, but he was way too strong. Sarutobi nodded. Very well. Anyway, for missions we have. Weeding a garden, cleaning training grounds 5, carrying some supplies to the Higurashi weapon stow. No, Naruto said. The Hokage looked at Naruto. No. No, Naruto repeated. Enough of these D-rank missions. Sasuke and Sakura do jack, making Sayuko and I do all the work. It's time we got a C-rank mission, so these two realize they can't just slack off. Sasuke growled, Sakura screeched at Naruto for being a liar. Hiruzen looked to Kakashi. Are they ready? The Cyclops shrugged. They are as ready as they will ever be. Hiruzen nodded. Very well, Team 7 will get a C-rank mission. He looked to the Chunin by the door. Call in the bridge builder. The Chunin nodded and left the room. A few minutes later, he returned with a very drunk old gray-haired man. I pay for shinobi, and I get a couple of brats. They don't look like they could do much, especially Blondie. I assure you sir, I am much stronger than I look, Naruto promised. The gray-haired man looked skeptical. Whatever. I am the super bridge builder Tizuna. You will guard me with your lives. Naruto's sweat dropped. I have a feelings this is gonna be an annoying trip. One who shapes the future. Naruto sat by the gates, meditating as he waited for the rest of his team. He was pressed against one of the large wooden doors that kept people in and out of Konoha. Cows had changed the way he looked now as Naruto's cloak. The blonde now wore a long-sleeved orange zip shirt. The back of the shirt stretched out like a cloak. Naruto began to breathe steadily and he delved into the depths of his mind, in his mindscape. Hey, Kurama-sensei. Kurama was sitting in the cage, in her human form. She had long, lush red hair and silted crimson eyes. She had slightly dark skin and large D-cup breasts. She had few curves, but each one complemented her body. She wore a red kimono, done loosely, so you could clearly see most of her body, though her beep and breasts were impossible to see no matter how much she moved. Hey Gaki, the red-haired Biju said to him. What are you doing here? Just decided to talk to you while I waited for everyone, sensei, Naruto told her. The silver fox came along beside Naruto. Hey, don't forget about cows. Naruto laughed and scratched cows between the ham ears. Hey there cows, how you doing? Cows purred. Good, oh yeah, that's the spot. Naruto laughed. Same old cows. Kurama giggled. So Gaki, nice name you've got for your new jutsu. Shirakami no Shisma. The white god's disappearance. Makes sense. Yeah, Naruto chuckled. I was really pushed to choose that name. Kurama nodded, then became serious. Gaki, have you made any progress in that idea? Naruto sighed. I'm still thinking sensei. I've got the basic outline. But. Kurama nodded. Just try your best Gaki. Naruto nodded and his sensors started acting up. Looks like someone else has arrived. Kurama nodded and reached out to get out the cage, but was shocked. Damn it. Naruto frowned before closing his eyes. The mindscape shifted. The seal turned into a ring on Kurama's left ring finger, the Sower turned into a vast forest, with a 3-story Japanese-style house. How's this? Kurama looked around in shock. This is. It's for you and cows, Naruto said. I made this place, you don't deserve to be stuck inside a cage, so I made this place. Kurama hugged Naruto tightly. She cried tears of joy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Naruto blushed and hugged back. No prob. Cows jumped on top of them. Thanks man. This place is awesome now. Naruto laughed. The two got off of him and he stood. Well, I'll see ya. He fades away. Kurama stares at the spot he was for a long time. Cows looks at her, then the spot Naruto was in, then his eyes widened. No you don't. Kurama blushed. Shut up. Cows laughed. Oh you are. You low. Kurama knocked out Cows, blushing. Baka. Outside the mindscape. Sayuko arrived and noticed Naruto pressed against one of the gates. Hey Naruto. He didn't stir, which made her look on in confusion. Then realization dawned. Oh maybe he is talking with that. She waited for a few minutes and eventually Naruto's eyes fluttered open. Oh, hey Sayuko. She smiled. Hey Naruto, were you meditating? Naruto nodded. Was just clearing my head, it's our first C-rank mission and I want to do well. The Uchiha heiress nodded. So, where do you think everyone is? Sakura is probably looking the mirror to look good for Sasuke, Naruto said instantly, earning a giggle from Sayuko. Sasuke I guess he is in his room, planning on how to kill Itachi. Sayuko rolled her eyes, but nodded. As for Kakashi-sensei, he is over there. He pointed in a direction and she looked, causing her eyes to widen. Walking towards the two was Kakashi Hatake with a bag slung on his back. I smiled. Hello you two. You're on time, Sayuko said. Kakashi looked confused. Is it really that odd? Yes, his two students responded instantly. Kakashi sweat dropped. I am serious sometimes you know. Yes, Naruto said. But that's usually when a new book in the series of Icha Paradise is released. Or you find out you can torture us all day. Kakashi chuckled. Got me there, he pulled out his book and began reading. A few minutes later, Tizuna arrived. He frowned. Where are the other two? The duck hair is brooding in the mirror, making plans on killing his evil brother, Naruto said seriously, which made Tizuna shiver in fear. And the pink-haired banshee is masturbating in the mirror to the thought of said duck hair fucking her hard and fast. Sayuko turned red at that. Kakashi chuckled and Tizuna blew up in full-blown laughter. Kurama giggled uncontrollably in the mindscape and Cows was still unconscious. That was a good one Gaki. Tizuna managed to say. You're okay in my books. Naruto smiled. Thanks Tizuna-san. Tizuna chuckled. No problem. Another 5 minutes passed and Sakura and Sasuke arrived. "You're late," Kakashi said. The two looked at him like he were from outer space. Sakura formed the ram seal. Kai. Kakashi looked confused. "It's not an illusion." Sasuke formed the ram seal. Kai. Nothing happened. Kai. 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 Naruto raised his voice. "It's not an illusion, you dumb emo shit, so stop saying fucking Kai." Sasuke glared at Naruto before turning to Kakashi. "You're on time?" Kakashi's sweat dropped. "Is my reputation really so bad that you think it's a game jutsu when I'm on time?" "Yes," Sakura told him. Kakashi chuckled lightly. "Right then. Let's go," Kakashi ordered. Naruto stood and they began to walk away from Konoha towards Nami no Kuni. One who shapes the future. And then I said. "Calm down bro, I'm just chilling." Naruto, Sayuko and Tazuna barked in laughter, Sakura shook her head in dismay, and Sasuke kept brooding. "Nice story Kakashi-sensei," Naruto laughed. "Fighting shinobi in Yuki no Kami." Kakashi I smiled. "Yes, it was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Not every day you see that kind of fighting." Naruto nodded. "Nah, sensei, can you tell us about the 5 Kage? I'm still a little confused on that." Kakashi nodded. "Well, there are 5 Kage, as you know, one for each nation. Kage is the title given to someone who has risen to be the leader of a hidden village, one for each of the 5 great nations. Kage also means shadow, they are called that because a shadow is something you cannot expect to beat so easily. For Rai no Kuni is the Kumagakure, their Kage is the Raikage. For Mizu no Kumi, the Kurigakure, along with the Mizukage. For the Kase no Kumi, is Sunagakure with the Kazekage. For Tsuchi no Kuni is a Wagakure, Konoha's sworn enemy, with its Tsuchikage. And finally, the strongest of the 5 great nations, Hai no Kuni, holds Konohagakure, with the Hokage. Our Kage." Naruto nodded, and his eyes lingered on a puddle. "There hasn't been rainfall in days, yet there is a puddle there. It's Genjutsu. And based on the water, it's most likely missing Nin from Kurigakure." He looked at Kakashi. "I'm certain Sensei noticed it too, but he is most likely waiting to see who they will attack. I'll play along for now." The group walked past the puddle, and slowly 2 figures emerged from the puddle, both wearing large black cloaks and gas masks. They wore on their opposing arms, one left arm one right arm, were gauntlets attached by a single chain. The 2 leapt into action. They immediately wrapped the chain around Kakashi. The silver-haired Jonin's visible eye grew wide. "Kakashi-sensei." A banshee screamed loudly. They heard one of the 2 mutter, as the chain squeezed tight against their sensei, and he was torn apart. Sakura screamed, Sasuke's eyes widened, Sayuko looked horrified and Naruto just watched. Their sensei fell into a pile of logs. The 2 men's eyes widened, but they quickly regained their focus and charged towards Tazuna. "Fools," Naruto appeared in front of Tazuna with his hand up. He whispered, "Anmindo. Tate." Immediately, the world seemed to bend to Naruto's will, and a shield appeared in front of him. When the men's gauntlets made contact, the gauntlets shattered. Their eyes widened. "Wah." Naruto punched, his fist breaking through the shield and into the face of one of the men. The man flew into a tree and fell unconscious. He muttered, turning and doing a well-placed kick, his foot breaking through the shield as well and into the face of the second man. That man flew into a tree opposite his brother, knocking him out. Naruto made the shield vanish. Everyone looked at him like he was from outer space. Too easy. How can he have more power than me? Sasuke thought, furious. I deserve that power. I will make him teach me. How did Naruto Baka do that? Sakura was furious at Naruto for some reason. He is the dope. He can't do anything right. Her inner voice agreed. That damn Naruto can't do anything. Is that one of his secret moves he never told me about? Sayuko thought, amazed. What amazing skill. I am so glad I hired this kid, Tazuna thought. Naruto looked into the trees. Kakashi-sensei, you can come out now. Immediately, the scarecrow jumped out his hiding spot and landed by Naruto. Well done Naruto, Kakashi congratulated. You didn't freeze up like the rest and kept your head cool, remembering to protect the client. Kakashi then grew serious. Speaking of which Tazuna, we need to have a talk. Naruto walked away and carried one of the men to the other, then tied them to the tree with a rope. The demon brothers. B rank missing Nin from Kurigakure no Sado, they were Chunin rank before leaving. They fled the country after a failed assassination attempt on the Yondaime Mizukage, with help from Zabuza Mamachi, who had just begun the bloodline purges. Kakashi nodded, impressed with Naruto's knowledge. We were not informed there would be enemy shinobi on this mission. This just became a B, if not A rank mission. My team is not yet experienced enough for a mission such as this. Explain, now. Tazuna groaned. Okay, I'm sorry. The truth is, the wave country has been taken over by Gato. Kakashi's eye widened, but Naruto spoke. Gato as in the business tycoon. Izuna nodded. That's what he uses as his bright side, but he is a bad person. He does illegal trades with all kinds of places and takes over villages until they submit and work for him. He's a monster. Building the bridge is our only hope of opening trade of our own and buying the country back from Gato. We needed some proper shinobi but we only had enough for a C-rank mission. Kakashi glared. Then you could have made a contract with the Hokage. You could have hired Jonin and paid the Hokage once you got the money. Izuna's gaze dropped. I'm sorry. Kakashi sighed. It doesn't matter. Team, we are heading ba. No, Naruto said. Kakashi looked towards the blonde. No. No, Naruto repeated. I can tolerate a lot of things, pain, hatred, I can deal with it all. But scumbags like Gato. I will not let him remain in power. I say we go through with the mission. Kakashi glared at him. It is not your decision. I agree with him, Sayuko interrupted. That shocked everyone and Izuna looked grateful. I've heard of Gato and scumbags like him shouldn't be allowed to live. I say we kill him. Naruto grins and looks to Sasuke. You and Emo. I'm sure Gato has hired a couple people you can use as practice before you face Itachi. Sasuke scowled but grinned slightly at the thought. Much as I hate you dope, I'm in. Sakura, wanting to follow Sasuke, said, I'm in too. Kakashi looked to all four of his students and sighed. I guess we will continue the mission. But I expect full pay when we can get it, understand? Izuna nodded. Of course. Certainly. Naruto smirked. Well then, let's keep moving. One who shapes the future. After walking for a while, Kakashi decided they all needed a break. There was a fog around them, almost like mist. Kakashi was speaking to Izuna about situations concerning his protection. Sasuke was brooding. Sakura was watching the uchiha, blushing. Sayuko was reading a book and Naruto was meditating, blocking out all the noise. The blonde Jinchuriki was taking easy breaths as he let his chakra flow out around him, sensing the area. He felt a presence in the bush. It wasn't an animal, it had a lot of chakra, it was a jonin and he was emitting killing intent. His eyes bolted open and he threw a kunai towards a bush. Everyone was startled by his sudden movement. After a moment, a small white rabbit hopped out the bush. Naruto, you baka. Sakura screeched, which made Izuna hold his ears, wincing in pain. You scared the poor thing. She went over to the rabbit and started comforting it. That rabbit doesn't look right, Kakashi thought. It's summer and yet its fur is white. This rabbit was raised indoors, which means it's easy to find fur. His eyes widened in realization. Kawarimi. Everyone hit the deck. Naruto and Kakashi yelled out together and everyone dropped down low as a blade swung over where their bodies had previously been. They all looked up. Standing on top of a large blade, the sword plunged into a tree, was a man. He wore striped blue pants, black ninja sandals, and bandages over the lower half of his headband was worn, so the forehead protector was more towards his left. However, it had a slash mark through it, indicating he was a nukenin. He wore no shirt. He had black, spiked hair and no eyebrows. Kakashi spoke. Zabuza Mamachi, a rank nukenin from Kurigakure, one of the 7 swordsmen, and wanted for the attempted assassination of the Yondaime Mizukage. Zabuza looked and smirked. Well, Sharingan no Kakashi. You're in my bingo book. Sasuke looked at his sensei. Sharingan. What does he mean? Sayuko had a similar reaction. Sharingan no Kakashi. Does sensei have a Sharingan? Must be transplanted. It was at this point Naruto stepped forward. Zabuza. My good friend. How long it's been. Zabuza looked at the blonde blankly before gasping in fear and backing up. Naruto. The one and only, the Uzumaki heir grinned. But how? Zabuza yelled. Haku and I watched you die. We buried you ourselves. Now Zabuza, Naruto smirked. You should know you can't keep a good man down. Naruto looked at Kakashi. Stay out of this, sensei. This is a personal matter. Kakashi glared at him. No, Naruto, he is way above your leave. In an instant, Naruto held his fist by Kakashi's face. Want to repeat that? Everyone besides Zabuza was shocked at this. Sayuko especially. Naruto was her friend, but this was a first for her to see him acting like this. Kakashi's eye widened before he sighed. Fine. Naruto moved his fist and turned towards Zabuza. Now Zabuza, how about a little deal? Zabuza frowned and shifted uncomfortably. What kind of deal? First one to draw blood has to do what the winner says, Naruto stated simply. Zabuza looked at him before grinning. I'm game. What are the rules? Fight only to drawing blood. The moment blood is spilled the battle is over. No killing. Naruto rolled up his sleeves to show his gauntlets. Zabuza grinned and made a single seal with one hand. Kurigakure no jutsu. Immediately, the fog became more dense and spread, becoming a fine mist that blocked their sights. Oh, same old tactics, Zabuza, Naruto smirked. He turned and moved his arm up and blocked Zabuza's blade with his right gauntlet. And always attacking from the back first. He then moved his arm to block another one coming from another direction. And then doing that. Honestly, don't you learn? He kicked both Zabuza away, one of them becoming water. Zabuza growled. Arrogant Gaki. Sasuke team. Naruto called. Sakura. Seuko. Pay attention. They all looked at him. This is how you fight in A-rank Nukenin. He tapped a seal on his left gauntlet and was now holding a large black scythe. The handle was all of black metal, whilst the blade was crimson, as if made from blood. Kakashi's single eye widened at the weapon. Zabuza shivered. That's Shum, Vermilion King. Zabuza looked at him. Looks like you did manage to get it. Naruto smirked. And now you get to witness its power. Naruto let his chakra flow into the blade as he dashed at Zabuza. The Nukenin, not wanting to face that weapon directly, swung his sword and the weapons clashed. Naruto pulled back his scythe and attempted to slice at Zabuza's arm, but the demon of the mist moved quickly, slicing at Naruto's legs. In response to this, he jumped up and landed on the Kubikiri Bacho and swung at Zabuza's head. He ducked and kicked Naruto off his sword. The blonde landed on the water and grinned. My Zabuza, it appears Shum won't be enough to beat you. He sealed the scythe into his gauntlet. Then perhaps I shall show you my own personal blade. Naruto grinned evilly. Be honored Zabuza. I have never used this sword in a battle before. He held his hand out vertically and a dark portal formed on the ground beneath his hand. Everyone watched as slowly the hilt of a sword appeared, then the guard, and then the sheath. Naruto. It then shot up and Naruto caught it by the sheath. The sheath was black and had a long yellow piece of silk strung onto it. The guard was bronze and octagonal, revealing it to be an old sword, as blades seldom had bronze guards. The hilt was white, with a single blue waved line running down it on both sides. Zabuza looked at the weapon warily, feeling quite scared. Naruto held it with his left hand and placed his right on the hilt. Open the gates to hell, unleash the sealed demons. Naruto glanced up, one of his eyes turning red. Yamato. Naruto drew the blade and Zabuza, on instinct, jumped back as quickly as he could and he felt something slash just in front of where he was standing. Naruto quickly sheathed the blade. When it was fully sheathed with a clink the water where Zabuza was standing sprayed everywhere. If I hadn't moved, I'd be dead Zabuza realized, thanking his instincts. Well done Zabuza. Naruto congratulated. My clones could never dodge Yamato, no matter how hard they tried. I suppose your instincts are better than I originally thought. Wait Yamato Kakashi gasped. That is the legendary sword spoken of only in hushed whispers. All his students, other than Naruto and Tazuna looked towards him. It is said to be able to cut through anything, and I do mean anything. Sasuke gained a greedy look. It, according to legends, can open up the gates to hell and allow the demons to flood in. You are well informed Kakashi sensei, Naruto congratulated. But there is more to it than that. Everyone looked towards him. You see, Yamato has had only one true master in the past. He was the son of a man named Sparda, the demon that sealed off the demon word from the human world. The master of this sword was Virgil Sparda, a half-devil, his mother being a human. He and his twin brother, Dante, wielded the two swords. Yamato, the blade you see now, and Rebellion. Only men of Sparda's blood can use them. The two had deep hatred for each other and tried to kill each other many times. Eventually, the two found women they fell in love with and, in secret, had children which ended up growing into two clans. Dante's blood grew into a lost clan, unknown by all except his descendants and Virgil's descendants. Virgil's clan, however, only the clan itself knows of its existence. And Yamato was passed down through the ages, unable to be wielded properly, as it would not choose a new master until it reached the last descendant of that clan. You, Zabuza said, certain of it. Naruto grinned. My name is Naruto Uzumaki of the Uzumaki clan. I hold the Uzumaki bloodline within me, as well as the blood of Sparda. And I am Yamato's second master. Zabuza gulped and put his weapon away. He backed up. Sorry Gaki, but we will continue this another time. And I promise, next time our fight will be magnificent, the Nukenin grinned madly. Haku. We are leaving. A masked person appeared by Zabuza. Yes, Zabuza-sama, she said in a light voice. She looked to Naruto. Naruto. Naruto smiled. Hey Haku, looks like we are enemies now. Hope this all works out though, and we can be friends like we used to. The girl smiled beneath her mask. I'd like that. With that said, the two Nukenin disappeared with a shushin. The mist lifted and Naruto walked over towards his team, only to be confronted by a certain duck-haired emo Uchiha. Dobe, I demand you give me your sword. Sasuke growled. Only an Uchiha elite like me can handle its power. Naruto smirked. Didn't you hear me? Only people with Sparda's blood can use it. And you, definitely, do not have Sparda's blood. Sasuke growled and threw a punch at Naruto, only for the blonde to dodge and hit him in the stomach hard with the hilt. The Uchiha heir coughed up blood and fell forwards, being caught by Naruto. "Fucking moron," Naruto mumbled. "Oi, Pinky, carry your boyfriend." Sakura blushed at being called that and didn't complain. She picked up Sasuke and they all began to walk. "You and I need to have a talk, Uzumaki," Sayuko narrowed her eyes. "Yeah, I know," Naruto sighed. Kakashi looked at him. "How do you know Zabuza?" Naruto sighed and looked around. "Well, we are gonna be walking for a while. So I may as well tell you it's the story of how I got Yamato and how I learned of my Uzumaki heritage." "Uzumaki heritage?" Kakashi asked, an eyebrow raised. Naruto nodded. The Uzumaki clan were a powerful people of Uzushi Agakure no Sato, which was actually in Nami no Kuni. Tazuna was surprised. His country held a hidden village at one point. It took the combined efforts of Kiri, Kumo and Iwa to take them down, and even then they took down 2/3 of the people that attacked with them. After their defeat, the survivors scattered. Sayuko frowned. "That isn't the story we want, Naruto. Tell us. How do you know Zabuza?" Naruto sighed. "It all began the day I blew up a house." Kakashi's eyes widened. "You what?" Naruto held up a hand. "Let me finish." Kakashi calmed down and looked at him. "Sorry, go on." "As I was saying, it began the day I blew up a house." Meijin. Flashback no jutsu. The 9-year-old Naruto stood outside a ruined building. Windows were shattered, large holes in the walls, the building was a sickly gray color. The Uzumaki stared at the building. "This is where my father and mother were nearly killed, that's what you said. Right, Kurama-sensei?" "Yes," the Biju told him. "Then let it be forgotten," he made the ram seal. Katsu. The building shook violently before blowing up. People screamed in panic and began running around, feeling they were under attack. The blonde turned and walked away from the building. After a minute or so, he felt a presence following him and left the village quickly, going deep into the forest. Once deep enough, he turned. "Come out. I know you're there." Two people jumped from the trees. A man and a young girl. "Not bad, kid," the man said in a deep voice. "I saw what you did to that building, and I like your style. What's your name?" Naruto stared at him. "Isn't it common courtesy to give your name before asking someone else's?" The man grinned beneath the bandages covering the lower half of his face. "Peepee brat. Fine. I'm Mamachi Zabuza, and this is my adopted daughter, Mamachi Hakui." The girl nodded to him. "Now your name?" "Uzumaki Naruto," the blonde told them, and Zabuza's eyes widened in shock before calming. "Don't lie, kid," Zabuza told him. "Uzumaki have straight red hair, not blonde and spiky like yours." Naruto growled. "My mother was in Uzumaki, I got strong genes from my father in the regard of my hair." "And who were your parents?" Zabuza said, hoping to catch him out. "Uzumaki Kushina and Namikaze Minato," Naruto snapped, and Zabuza froze. "His parents are the Yondaime Hokage, and Konoha's Red Death." Zabuza was quite afraid of this boy all of a sudden. Someone born from those two people was bound to be powerful. "What's wrong, Tusan?" the girl asked, worried by her father's face. "So Naruto," Zabuza said, calming down and ignoring his daughter, which made her pout. "What are you doing so far from Konoha?" Naruto snorted. "Like those bastards give a fuck about me." The tone in which he spoke made even Zabuza's blood run cold. "And for your information, I am technically still there, I merely have a clone in my place. At least he will remain there until I return in 3 years." Zabuza nodded. "You still haven't answered my question though." "Training," the blonde said, as if it was the most obvious thing in the world. "And I am learning of my heritage. I need to know more of the Uzumaki clan. Right now I don't know a damn thing." Zabuza tapped his chin, thinking. Until an idea popped into his head. "Then why don't you come with me, Gaki?" Haku looked at her adoptive father. "Tusan." Naruto blinked. "Pardon? If you are training out here, this far from Konoha, you must be strong." Zabuza explained. "But I can make you stronger. I know a little about the Uzumaki clan, and I know where a few of their scrolls are. If you come with me, I can teach you what I know." Naruto tapped his chin, considering this. "What do you think, Kurama-sensei?" Naruto asked out loud. Zabuza frowned. "Huh?" Haku too had a blank look. "No problems here, Gaki," Kurama told him. Naruto nodded and looked at Zabuza. "Kurama-sensei says it's okay." Zabuza frowned. "Who is Kurama?" "The 9-tailed demon fox sealed in my gut by my father," Naruto replied, using a matter-of-factly tone. Zabuza's eyes widened again. "A Jinchuriki and the son of those two. Fuck, this kid is gonna be strong. Well then, kid, welcome aboard. But let me ask, why are you in this town? Surely you know there is nothing Uzumaki here." Naruto nodded. "Yes, I know, Kurama-sensei told me." "Then why?" "I'm looking for the Shuo." Naruto shrugged. Zabuza laughed. Please, the Shuo doesn't exist. Naruto's eyes narrowed dangerously. I have a 6,000-year-old demon sealed in my stomach who was around at the time of its creation. The Shuo is real. Zabuza faltered. He stared at the blonde before sighing. Whatever, kid. Haku and Zabuza walked past Naruto. Come on. Naruto nodded and walked with them, heading to a new destination. And that's how I met Zabuza. Naruto told Kakashi. So Zabuza was your sensei? Sayuko asked. Yes, he taught me silent killing and an alternative kenjutsu style to my normal one. Naruto replied. But what about your Uzumaki heritage? Kakashi asked. I'm getting to that. Naruto snapped. Anyway, we arrived in Tsuchi no Kuni after traveling for a while. Alright, let's set up camp, Zabuza ordered. Naruto nodded, making some bushin. Excuse me for a while, Zabuza, Naruto said. I'm going to go for a walk. The blonde had changed over the time. His whisker marks were deeply faded, almost non-existent. His originally spiky yellow hair had been tamed and fell flat. It was now a silvery blonde with silvery red tips, but more silver than blonde and more silver than red. Zabuza nodded. Be back in half an hour. Understood. Come back soon, Naruto-kun, Haku told him, blushing slightly. She had grown close to him over the months and had developed a crush on him. Hi, Naruto responded before walking off. Once he was far enough away he let loose a breath. Man, have to act serious around Zabuza all the time. It's pissing me off. Worry about that later, Gaki Kurama told him. Right now focus on the task at hand. It should be around here. Naruto nodded. He went deep into a cave, going very deep inside. He used his katen to light the top of a torch by the entrance so he could see. Are you sure I'll find that scroll here? Naruto asked his Biju aloud. The vixen rolled her eyes, not that the Uzumaki could see. Trust me. I know what I am doing. Naruto nodded and delved deeper into the cave, and deeper, we aren't getting anywhere. Naruto proclaimed. As soon as he said that, he hit a dead end. Are you fucking serious? Naruto growled. Wait, Gaki. Kurama exclaimed. Wipe the wall with your blood. Naruto raised an eyebrow, but made a small cut across his palm with a kunai and wiped it across the wall. Immediately, the wall seemed to screech in agony as it was drawn up until it no longer obscured his path. On the other side of where the wall had once been, sitting in a glass case, was the scroll he was looking for and a sheathed sword. There it is, Naruto grinned happily. He was about to rush in, but stopped himself. He walked slowly and cautiously to the glass case. He clenched his fist and smashed it. With a smile, he picked up the scroll and opened it. Reader of this scroll, descendant of Sparda, congratulations on finding this place. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Who was Sparda? Kurama's breath caught in her throat. Naruto was descended from Sparda. The Sparda. Naruto, oblivious to the vixen, continued reading. If you are reading this, then our clan has been wiped out and you are the last one, for the scroll would not open otherwise. In the case you do not know of this, you are a part of a forgotten clan, known as the Anshin clan. We are descended from the half-devil known as Virgil, one of the sons of Sparda. The sword with this scroll is known as the Yamato, the blade of our clan. Only our ancestor Virgil could master it. We can only hope you will master it and bring honor back to us. If it accepts you as its master, your devil's blood shall react and become stronger, making you a quarter devil. However, this will also grant you the ability to use devil arms. Beware, the wielder of the skull blade. Beware, the wielder of rebellion. Rebellion? Naruto questioned and noticed the blade Yamato seemed to shake in anger. Naruto looked at it. You want revenge against rebellion, don't you? The sword shook once, indicating yes. Then accept me as your master, and we shall make rebellion regret every being created. The sword hovered and floated over to Naruto, waiting. It's time for you to wake up. He grabbed the hilt. Yamato. As he drew the blade, he was enveloped in a bright light and everything faded. Naruto woke outside the cave, Yamato in hand and the scroll in one of his seals. He did not know how he got out, but he wasn't complaining. He looked up. How long has passed, Kurama-sensei? About 20 minutes, the Biju told him. Naruto nodded. He looked in the direction he had come, where Zabuza and Haku were. Sorry you too, he whispered. But now, I need to go. A black portal opened up in front of him, where he put Yamato into. The portal closed and he made a kaibushin. You know what to do. It nodded. The two walked back to where Zabuza and Haku were. Naruto beat up the bushin a little bit before slamming a hand through its chest. It coughed out blood. It crawled into the clearing and he heard Haku scream. He sighed sadly and he walked away, not daring to look back for fear of wanting to see them. Flashback no jutsu. Kai. Wow, Kakashi was shocked. This kid, no, this man had gone through all of that at only 9. Incredible. He found new respect for him. Sayuko, on the other hand, was sad for Naruto. Why did you leave? Sayuko asked. Naruto sighed. I had a new power that wasn't in check. I could not risk hurting them. I thought I wouldn't see them again, so I decided it would be best if they thought I had died. I won't say I didn't regret my choice, I do, but I felt it was for the best. Sayuko sighed sadly, worried for her friend. Wait, Kakashi spoke, realizing something. In the story you said you had silvery blonde hair that was straight. You're correct, Naruto said. Then why don't you have it now? Jutsu, Naruto said, rolling his eyes. If my hair wasn't spiked, Hokage Jiji would never believe it was me without a lengthy discussion, and I hate those. Everyone, except the still unconscious Sasuke, sweat dropped at his answer. So you're a quarter devil? Sayuko asked. Oh yeah. Naruto grinned. Gives me a longer lifeline. Plus, on top of that, I can wield devil arms, which are devil or demon souls turned into a weapon for me. How many do you have? Kakashi asked, curiously. 3, Naruto responded. I have Yamato, of course. I have another devil soul from one I defeated a year ago, although just barely. She was a horny devil, he chuckled at his own pun. Kakashi giggled perversely, and Sayuko glared. Tazuna couldn't help but chuckle. She tried to suck out my life with a kiss, didn't manage it though. And then the last one, well, I'll keep that one to myself. Kakashi nodded in understanding. Of course, Naruto. In time, they arrived by a shore, with a man waiting with a boat. You're here, Tazuna, the man said. Yes, we need a lift to town, Tazuna told him. As long as they are quiet, it will be no problem. They all climbed aboard the boat and the man began to row the boat. Sasuke awoke a few minutes later and brooded, annoyed with Naruto. I take it you do this to not be caught by Gato? Kakashi asked. Tazuna nodded. If we use another boat, we will get caught. Better to do things like this. Understandable. Naruto said. There was a heavy fog around them as the boat moved. And the fog is to help shield you, correct? Tazuna nodded. Very clever. Thank you, Tazuna said. But being clever isn't enough. We need to work hard too. In order to finish the bridge we must. Naruto nodded in understanding. I know what you mean. It is like when I left Zabuza and Haku, I needed to master Yamato. Hard work was needed to master it. Speaking of that, Naruto, Kakashi spoke. How strong are you? Everyone tensed. They were all secretly wondering how powerful the blonde genin was. Zabuza seemed to be afraid of him. Was he stronger than Zabuza? In a flat-out fight, I would lose to Zabuza. Apparently not. However, that caught everyone's attention. By flat-out fight, I mean a fight with brute force, no jutsu, nothing but swords and fists. In terms of strategy, I have him beat easily. And if we fought using our jutsu? He tapped his chin. Close to call. I may just win. If I were to use Yamato, then I could win a bit more easily, but I don't want to use him for such trivial things. You think an A rank Nukenin is trivial? Sayuko asked, shocked. Naruto nodded. Yes. I might use Yamato against an S-rank Nukenin, but only if I had no choice. Against an SS rank. I would call him out immediately. Kakashi nodded. And what of that side you used? That is the Shuo, Naruto told him. A very special weapon. It is spoken of in legends. It was said to be one of the 5 great weapons in all of existence. The weapons being, in order from weakest to strongest. Shuo, the Soul Slicer, a tool of the Rikido Sennin, then Dante's legendary sword, Rebellion, Yamato, the blade you all know and love, and finally the sword of Sparda. Shuo is the weakest, but it is powerful. When someone is killed by it, their soul is stored in the weapon instead of going to the Shinigami. It is the same for Yamato and Rebellion. Sparda's sword completely erases the soul from existence, which is why it is the strongest. Even the Shinigami fears Sparda's blade. Everyone was shocked at that. Even the Shinigami feared Sparda's blade. A certain uchiha had some greedy thoughts. I need that blade. With it, Itachi will suffer. Naruto, you mentioned Rebellion before, but what is it exactly? Sayuko asked. Rebellion is, in a sense, the brother of Yamato, Naruto informed them. However, its full power can only be unlocked by someone with Sparda's blood. Unlike Yamato, Rebellion isn't picky about its master, as long as they are willing to fight demons and devils for peace. Does that mean anyone can use Rebellion? Kakashi asked. Not exactly, Naruto told him. Rebellion can be used by humans, but it will not be as strong as when someone of Sparda's blood uses it. In fact, it will only hold a fraction of its true power. And Yamato cannot be used by anyone other than the one it chooses as its master. In this case. Me. How many devils are there? Sayuko asked. Oh, hundreds, thousands, millions even, Naruto said, waving a hand dismissively. However, a lot of them are sealed in the demon world. Only the most powerful devils live here. Nevan was one such devil. She faced Dante and lost, but was revived a few thousand years after his death. All the devils Dante has faced have revived with time, but they are in hiding. Devils or not, humans have become stronger than before, with the ability to seal them away. Kakashi nodded. One last thing, Naruto. Naruto nodded. Go ahead. Have you killed before today? Naruto nodded. Just one person. He attempted to harm someone close to me, so I killed him. I felt regret from killing, but it passed quickly. But moving on to more serious matters, Naruto said seriously. I'll have to ask you to not help me face Zabuza when we encounter him again. Kakashi frowned. I can't do that, Naruto. Please, Naruto asked. I need to do this. It is the least he deserves. I left him and Haku, thinking I was dead. He deserves this fight. Kakashi stared at him and sighed. Very well. But in the mission report, I will have to write I faced him. That okay? Naruto nodded. Fine with me. He looked to Sakura and Sasuke. This should go without saying, but if you ever mention this to anyone, his right eye turned into a crimson slit. I will kill you. Sasuke and Sakura, though stupid, knew to nod quickly. His eye turned back to being blue. Good. One who shapes the future. You ran away, a small blonde-haired man with sunglasses demanded. Yes we did, Zabuza said. They had not only Sharingan no Kakashi with them, but also a former student of mine. He held 2 of the 5 legendary weapons. They are not only priceless, but dangerous. It doesn't matter, the small man growled, clearly angry. You should do your job. Zabuza held the Kubikiri Bacho to his neck in an instant. Do not question my judgment, Gatu. I know what I am doing, and I will strike them soon enough. The job will be done. And then I'll end your life soon after, scum. Gatu shivered in fear before taking a step back. I will give you one more chance, Zabuza. If you fail this time, I will not be as forgiving. Gatu looked to his 2 guards, one who wore an eye patch and another who wore a hat. He nodded and the 3 walked away. I hate that midget, Zabuza grumbled. Soon enough we won't have to worry about him too, San, Haku promised. Zabuza nodded. Now it's only a question of if I can defeat Naruto, so we will all be together again. Haku blushed. I hope he loses. I missed him. Zabuza raised an eyebrow. You still like him? Haku nodded. Yes, he is precious to me, just like you, Zabuza-sama. The Nukenin nodded in understanding. Well then, we strike in 10 days. I need to get back in shape to face him. One who shapes the future. Team 7 and Tazuna were walking through the small town in which Tazuna lived. Naruto looked around, disgusted. The streets were filthy, people looked starved, and even more looked ill. Naruto clenched his fist in anger. A small girl came to him with open hands. Please? She asked. Naruto smiled softly and knelt, taking out a loaf of bread from a seal and placing it in her hand. Don't worry, I promise soon enough things will improve. The Uzumaki ruffled the girl's hair, who smiled brightly. Naruto had only one thought in his head at this time. Gatu will pay. The girl thanked Naruto before leaving. When Naruto rose, the group looked at him. What? I didn't know you were so good with kids, dope, Sasuke smirked. Yeah, you don't seem like the type, Sakura added. My student is growing up so fast, Kakashi fake sobbed, wiping a fake tear from his eye. Little Naru-chan is good with the other children? Sayuko asked rhetorically. Naruto gave them the finger. Fuck you guys. Was all he said and motioned to Tazuna to lead on, who simply chuckled and led them to his house. I made a good choice in who I hired, Tazuna decided happily. In time, they came to a small house. Tazuna opened the door. I'm home. He called out. A young woman came out the kitchen, who smiled. She had long black hair and black eyes. She wore a pink t-shirt and a long purple skirt. Welcome home, father. The young boy ran down the stairs and hugged the old man. Grandpa. Tazuna smiled. Hello you two. I missed you both. He turned to Team 7. This is my family. This here is my grandson, Inari. And the lady you see there is my daughter, Tsunami. Naruto walked over to Tsunami and got on one knee before kissing her hand. A pleasure, Lady Tsunami. Tsunami gained a fierce blush, Sayuko growled lowly, and Tazuna glared. Nice to meet you, young man. What is your name? I am Naruto Uzumaki, he told her. Your father hired my team and I to protect him until such a time as the bridge is finished. We will work to the best of our ability to protect your family. Tsunami blushed even more. Thank you, Naruto-san. Kakashi gave Naruto a thumbs up. Smooth, the sensei said perversely. Naruto stood and looked back, noticing Sayuko's look. Always someone jealous, Sayuko. She looked away. No. Naruto chuckled lightly before walking to Sayuko and getting on one knee, kissing her hand. I cannot live with myself if you are displeased, Lady Sayuko. It was Sayuko's turn to blush fiercely. Sasuke growled this time and whined with Naruto. Shut up, you baka. Naruto grinned and stood before looking at Tazuna. Calm down, Tazuna, your daughter is indeed beautiful. However, I feel I may be a bit too young for her, after all I am Twi. He frowned. What day is it? October 10th, Tazuna responded. Kakashi's lone eye widened and Sayuko's blush vanished instantly, replaced with sadness. Naruto gained a distant look. I see, excuse me. Naruto walked past his sensei. What's up with the gaki? Tazuna asked. Kakashi sighed. Today is Naruto's birthday. Shouldn't that be a good thing? Tsunami asked. Sayuko shook her head, which surprised Kakashi. Naruto had a difficult life. Every time his birthday rolled around, even when he was a young child, he was beaten harshly, starved, made to suffer. Azuna's eyes widened in alarm, Tsunami looked shocked, even Inari looked sad for the blonde. Maybe he isn't like other people was the boy's thought. How could anyone do something so cruel to such an innocent child? Tsunami yelled. If anyone had done that to Inari, she would have made them pay. Naruto was hurt for something out of his control, Kakashi told her. He is an orphan, born on the day of the worst day in the history for our village. It was after a certain attack by an entity. After it was defeated, Naruto was put in the orphanage, nobody knowing who his parents were. They thought of him as the entity that attacked and beat him harshly for it. He needed to have a team of Anbu with him at all times by the time he was 1. Sayuko sighed sadly. I'm going to go look for him. She left the house. Everyone was shocked, the thought that someone could hurt a child was shocking. The only one who didn't care was a certain duck-haired Uchiha emo. What lies? Probably a sob story. I will gain his power and kill him. One who shapes the future. Thousands of stars illuminated a lake in the forest, a gentle breeze blew, causing ripples in the water. Standing atop the water, with closed eyes, stood Naruto without the genjutsu over his body. With it gone, he looked different. His whisker marks could no longer be seen unless you were to put your eye right by Naruto's cheek. His hair was no longer spiky. It was pure silver, besides the very tips that were blood red. His clothes were different too. Cows had changed into a black cloak that reached the top of his ankles. He wore a dark red shirt, black jeans, and dark brown boots. His eyes were closed as he held Yamato at his side. His right hand hovered over the hilt, ready to draw it at a moment's notice. He didn't do anything. He didn't open his eyes, he didn't move an inch, he didn't even breath. He simply stood atop the lake. Slowly, a silver aura began to cover his body. Silver swords appeared around him and shot in all directions, slicing through trees. He gripped Yamato. Open the gates to hell, unleash the sealed demons. Naruto opened his eyes, his left one was now a crimson slit. Yamato. He drew Yamato quick, slashing faster than the eye could see. He then slowly began sheathing it. When it sheathed with an audible click, the water in front of the silver-haired Uzumaki split into, all the way to the bottom of the lake, before crashing back together. Naruto sighed. I'm too slow based on what Kurama says, Virgil was faster. Naruto looked over the water. He then sat, crossed his legs, made an odd hand seal with his hands, and closed his eyes. Yes, Naruto, Kurama told him. You need to feel the chakra in the air and let flow into your system of its own accord. Naruto sat in silence for a while, but then stood. Not yet. Practicing that out in the open is suicide. He looked to the moon and sighed. It's the same moon as that night from your memories. Isn't it, Kurama-sensei? Kurama sighed. Yes, Naruto, it is the exact same moon. A straight tear fell down his cheek. Why did it have to be me? I'm sorry, Kurama said, for what must have been the 1000th time. Why did it have to be me? Naruto held his hand over his eyes and tears began to flow freely. Out of the forest came the Uchiha heiress. Upon seeing Naruto, she ran over the water and hugged him. It's okay, Naruto, you aren't alone. Naruto glanced at her, his crimson eye and his azure eye filled with sadness. Sayuko. She hugged him tightly. I don't see why you keep that genjutsu up, you look great. Naruto buried his head into her neck. Why did he pick me? He cried. Sayuko placed a hand on the back of his neck, pulling him deeper into the embrace. It's okay, I'm here for you, Naruto-kun. Naruto looked at her, tears in his eyes. Sayuko. He slowly leaned in with his head. Sayuko mirrored the action, blushes on both their faces. Their lips met and all of Naruto's sorrows drowned away as he focused on the person in front of him. Meanwhile, in the mindscape, clutching her chest, was a certain vixen. Why, Kurama thought. Why does my heart ache? The kiss between Naruto and Sayuko lasted what must have been an age for them. At least that's how Sayuko felt. When her lips met Naruto's, she felt nothing else mattered. Not Sasuke, not Konoha, not even revenge on Itachi. All that mattered that her Naruto-kun was kissing her, not Hinata, not Sakura, her. Eventually Naruto pulled his head away, blushing heavily, breathing quite a bit. That was. Sayuko blushed and leaned her head into his chest, her arms still around his body. She could feel the abs under his shirt. They were lean, not those fake muscles she saw on others, these came from years of hard work and dedicated training, they were made to be used. You better take responsibility, she whispered. That was my first kiss. Naruto looked away. It was silent for a while until the silver-haired devil mumbled something. "What?" Sayuko asked. Naruto looked at her. It was mine too. Her heart was filled with happiness upon hearing those words. She snuggled into his body, quite happy with their position. Naruto wrapped his arms around her and pulled her deeper into the embrace. This is wrong, Naruto thought. She's an uchiha. I'm in Uzumaki, distant relations to the senju. I should hate her. I should want to push her away. But I just can't push her away. I shouldn't feel like this but. Sayuko looked up at him and her made the mistake of looking into her eyes. Those black eyes, beautiful black eyes that seemed to stare into his soul and unravel all of his dark secrets. Naruto-kun, Sayuko blushed. You're staring. Naruto blushed as well and looked away. Sorry. The Uchiha heiress turned his head. Don't just stare, she whispered. He went on her tiptoes and kissed him. Naruto melted upon contact and pulled her closer, sliding his tongue into her mouth and letting it dance with hers. Sayuko let out a quiet moan upon this. They kept this up for 5 minutes before the kiss ended, a trail of saliva connecting their tongues. Sayuko, Naruto began, but she put a finger to his lips. Unless the next words to come out of your mouth are loving ones, don't you dare ruin this moment. She let out a sickly sweet smile that sent shivers down his spine. It reminded him of her mother, Mikoto, one of the few women to treat him as an equal. He remembered an entry in the bingo book he had read long ago, the smiling monster Mikoto Uchiha. He felt Sayuko had inherited more than just her mother's looks. Sayuko, Naruto began again. I shouldn't feel this way about you. He stated, and Sayuko deflated. I should hate you, I should think you're a waste of space, I should want you dead. He continued. Tears began to well in the Uchiha's eyes. I should yell at you for daring to touch me and probably kill you right now. Tears were evident now and Sayuko was about to cry. But. That caught her attention. I can't bring myself to hate you. I'm trying. Right now I'm trying. I just can't bring myself to hate you. Sayuko's tears fell freely, staring at the man in front of her. I can't open my heart to you, I've been hurt before and I shouldn't let the chance to be hurt again happen. I shouldn't be your boyfriend, Sayuko sniffed, but Naruto placed a hand on her cheek. But despite all the shoulds and can'ts I've said I want to be that. Sayuko froze. What? She looked to him, only to melt upon seeing the smile, the true smile that adorned his lips. Sayuko-chan, Naruto leaned in, so his lips were just by hers. Will you be my girlfriend? Sayuko couldn't believe it, Naruto had asked her the question she wasn't expecting for the longest time. Please tell me this isn't a dream or genjutsu, she whispered. If it were, I would make it reality, Naruto responded, and Sayuko's lips crashed into his, knocking him onto the water. He concentrated chakra onto his back to stay up. Yes, the black-haired beauty repeated over and over again, kissing Naruto's cheek with each yes. Naruto blushed, happy. He had finally found someone who he cared for and who cared for him too. As your girlfriend, I need you to do me a favor, she said immediately. Not even 5 minutes, he chuckled. What do you need? Take my brother's arrogance down a peg, she told him. It's so difficult to live with him. Could you beat him badly, show him training is important. It means we could also skip the part where he challenges you to see if you're worthy of me. Naruto laughed. Fair enough. He smiled and Sayuko's heart fluttered. She crashed her lips onto his again and the two remained like that for another 2 hours. One who shapes the future. Sasuke was sitting in his seat around the dinner table, fuming. The dobe had gotten all depressed cause of how bad his birthdays were, which he doubted. Then his sister had run off looking for said dobe, which he was shocked by. How could his sister, an elite uchiha, go run off to look for a loser like Naruto? To say the least, he was baffled. Where are they? Sasuke gritted his teeth, clearly annoyed. Kakashi sighed, turning over a page in his book. Sasuke, we can't rush them. She may not really know where he is. Then she could just return, Sasuke stated. We could find the dope tomorrow. Kakashi sighed. Sasuke, Naruto is your teammate and will continue to be until you get promoted or one of you dies. Sasuke remained quiet at that and knew there was no point arguing with his sensei as he would lose the argument. A few minutes later, the door opened and everyone was confused at who walked in. Sayuko walked in first, with a very happy smile on her face, much to Sasuke's confusion. But everyone was further confused by who followed. He had tamed silver hair with silvery red tips that reached to the lower half of his neck. His eyes were mismatched. One azure blue, one burning red. He wore a dark red shirt, black jeans, and dark brown boots. He wore a black cloak, think of Virgil's but black, that reached just above his ankles. He looked to be 13 or 14. He stood at 57, tall for his age. Held in his left hand was a familiar sword. Yamato. Hey everyone. Sayuko yelled out, smiling. Hello Sayuko, Kakashi said. Who is the person with you? I'm gone for a few hours and you forget. The silver-haired devil said in a mock-hurt voice. I'm hurt, Kakashi-sensei. Kakashi's visible eye widened. Naruto. Everyone's eyes, except Sayuko's, widened as they looked at the former blonde with shock. He made an over-dramatic bow, the one and only. He went to Tsunami and bowed. Forgive me, Lady Tsunami, but my heart has been taken by another, I hope you can forgive me. Tsunami let out a small giggle. It's alright, you're a bit too young for me. Naruto stood and began to walk back over to Sayuko, before stopping and looking towards Sasuke. Hey Emo, wanna spar? Sasuke growled. You're on dobe. Naruto smirked and turned. Follow me. With that, he walked out the door. Sayuko and Sasuke followed. Sakura was about to follow as well, but Kakashi grabbed her hand. No. We must stay in guard Tazuna, no telling when Gato may send some thugs to attack. Sakura pouted and was about to argue, but realized her words would fall on deaf ears. Hi sensei. She grumbled and sat back down, clearly angry. After all, anyone who got between her and her Sasuke-kun was in the wrong. How dare they try and keep her away from her lover? Naruto, as if reading her thoughts, grinned at her ignorance. Though he made a silent promise not to hurt Sasuke too much. One who shapes the future. After 5 minutes of walking, the group of 3 arrived at a clearing. This will do nicely, Naruto stated, a smirk on his lips. You're gonna lose no matter what, dope, Sasuke sneered, clearly thinking he could still beat Naruto. Oh, we'll see, Naruto countered and walked until he was around 100 yards. Sayuko walked to the edge of the training field and looked between her lover and her brother. No maiming, no killing, the fight ends when one is unable to continue, agreed. Sayuko called. They both nodded quickly. Hajime. Immediately, Sasuke ran at Naruto to what a civilian consider blinding speeds. He threw a kick towards the Uzumaki, who ducked under it with ease. He aimed a punch at Naruto's face, which was blocked by Yamato's sheath. Being greedy, he grabbed Yamato and attempted to yank it out Naruto's hands. This plan didn't work too well, as Sasuke was blasted back by a surge of black chakra. The Uchiha heir landed on his feet in slight pain. Greedy Sasuke, Naruto smirked. Didn't I tell you? Only the master of Yamato can use him. In other words, me. He dropped Yamato into a dark portal. A smirk was plastered on the Uzumaki's lips. Sasuke growled and made hand seals. Kaiten. Dikaku no Jutsu. The Uchiha roared and a fireball erupted from his mouth and shot at the silver-haired boy. Naruto sighed before making hand seals of his own. What a fool, he whispered. Kaiten. Hakume Goka. From Naruto's mouth came silver flames that spread out a great width. It swallowed Sasuke's fireball and kept on course towards the Uchiha heir. The Uchiha's eyes widened and was barely able to perform a Kawarimi to get away, swapping with a log all shinobi got access to somehow. He looked at the silver flames in pure fear. What the? One of my own original techniques, Naruto told him. Hakume Goka. The Twilight Hellfire. Only a powerful Suiton Jutsu could stop these flames. However, I can't use this jutsu again until the flames stop. So only when a Suiton Jutsu hits them. Or he snapped his fingers and the flames vanished. Sasuke growled and made more hand seals. Kaiten. Msenka no Jutsu. Aiming at the blonde once more, he shot several fireballs from his mouth, all of them about half the size of his last fireball. Naruto sighed. He tapped a seal on his cloak and from it came a familiar sword, the same sword his mother once owned. This is the difference between us. He channeled wind chakra into his sword and sliced each fireball down the middle. Sasuke stared at the Uzumaki in shock. Before he could even try and plan his next attack, Naruto vanished in a white flash, appearing behind Sasuke with his sword to the Uchiha's neck. This is the result of training, Sasuke, Naruto told him. You may be a prodigy, I may have been nothing at one point, but I trained, and now where are we? The dobe just beat the rookie of the year. Naruto sealed his sword. Sayuko nodded. Winner. Naruto. Sasuke looked at Naruto, then to his sister, and looked down. But I need to beat Itachi, Sasuke whispered. Do not let hate consume you, Sasuke, Naruto told him. Itachi was trying to hinder you. The hatred will make you weak. But if when it comes, you can control it and use it to your advantage, then even Itachi will fall before you. The Uchiha heir looked up in hope. But it means nothing if you don't train. Naruto walked over to Sayuko and then the two began to walk away. You're free to train with your sister and I. We train every day outside of missions. Sasuke looked after the two of them, staring at the back of Naruto. Naruto is trying to help me. He's more like a brother than Itachi ever was. Sasuke couldn't believe this. The person who he thought was worthless, the person who was the weakest of the weak had just beaten him, and now he was the person who had just earned his respect and set his spot as Sasuke's #1 rival. And friend. Sasuke looked towards the sky. He smiled softly. Arigato Naruto ni. With that said, he quickly turned and ran to chase after his sister and his brother. One who shapes the future. Naruto, Sayuko and Sasuke arrived back at the house. The 5 minutes it took them to get there, they spoke. Naruto was actually surprised to find out he and Sasuke had a lot in common. Sasuke enjoyed reading, learning new things, and they both even had a similar enjoyment for ramen. Sayuko giggled as they spoke. Her brother and boyfriend had a lot in common, which was good. It meant Sasuke may accept that Naruto was dating her. Nah, Naruto? Sasuke voiced, just outside the house. Who was your sensei? Naruto looked at Sasuke before sighing and explained to him about Kurama. He, once again, expected hatred, but Sasuke grew angry. I always hated that damn civilian council. Always trying to kiss my ass and causing others pain. Next time they try and screw you over, let me know. They will do anything for one of the last uchiha. Naruto smirked. You got it, Sasuke. Sayuko giggled and Sasuke grinned. Sasuke looked back and forth between Sayuko and Naruto before smirking. You should date. Sayuko blushed. We kind of are already, Sasuke. Sasuke gained a blank look. How long? A few hours ago, Naruto responded honestly. Sasuke shrugged. That's cool with me. If it was a couple days ago I'd be pissed, but a few hours I can handle. Sasuke then looked at Naruto. What training do you two do exactly? Mostly chakra control in my case, Naruto told him. My reserves are so huge I need to do chakra control a lot to get them under wraps. I show Sayuko some Taijutsu and Kaiten, then set off for my chakra control. No Sharingan allowed, of course. Sasuke nodded. What exactly are you good at? A lot, Sasuke, Naruto told him. Plus I have an entity sealed in my gut that has thousands of years of knowledge. I know lost ninjutsu as well. Sasuke nodded. Wait, then what was that Onmyoto stuff? Naruto chuckled nervously. Look, Sasuke, I have some secrets, as I'm sure you have yours. Sasuke, let it go this time. Sayuko told him. When Naruto has a secret he is very stubborn. He does everything he can not to reveal it. Even kill someone. Sasuke teased, but Sayuko gave him a serious look. He told me that's the thing he would do first if he had to, Sayuko said, seriously. Sasuke gulped. Got it. So do you have any other weapons besides the scythe and Yamato? Yes, Naruto responded. My kunai and shuriken and 2 more swords. Do? Sasuke raised an eyebrow. Yes. The first is a family heirloom, which the bastards in Konoha were selling in a shop, Naruto growled. Sayuko got an angry look, but controlled herself. The second. Naruto didn't speak. Instead, he walked up to Tizuna's house and opened the door. Yo. We're back. Welcome back, Kakashi said, without looking up from his book. Who won? Sasuke-kun, of course. Sakura screeched. Sasuke-kun would never lose to Naruto Baka. I lost, Sasuke said, and Sakura looked at him in shock. Naruto Baka must have cheated, the Banshee began, but was cut off by Sasuke. If you ever claim Naruto of cheating again, I will personally go to the Hokage and report you for all the hits you have given Naruto over the years and have you thrown in prison for assaulting a fellow leaf shinobi. Sasuke yelled at her, and Kakashi's single eye widened. Sasuke just defended Naruto. Sakura was speechless, to say the least. Her Sasuke-kun, the best of the best, just defended the dobe. The dead last, the loser. Enough, Kakashi commanded. We are all going to go to sleep. Sayuko and Sakura will share one room. Sasuke and Naruto, you get another. I will be sharing with Tizuna. I'll start training you tomorrow. Everyone nodded, though Sakura grumbled about not being close to her Sasuke-kun, and they all went to their rooms. Naruto lay on one of the futons that had been laid out. Nah, Naruto? Sasuke asked. What makes you so strong? Naruto looked at him surprised. Seriously? He looked confused. Nothing can stop me from my revenge on Itachi. He killed everyone I loved, besides Sayuko, without mercy. But why are you so strong? Naruto stayed silent for a long time. Sasuke was about to just go to sleep, but then Naruto spoke. I guess my desire to protect my precious people. Sasuke looked at him. Protecting your precious people? Naruto nodded. If it means I can protect those close to me, I will fall into the depths of hell to gain power. Not to hurt people with, but to protect people with. That's why I'm strong. I train to protect. Sasuke looked at him before turning away. Protecting how the Uchiha heir fell asleep soon, with those thoughts in his mind. Naruto looked at him and smiled. Soon enough, Sasuke, you'll see what I mean. With that, the Uzumaki fell asleep. One who shapes the future. The next day, the forest was peaceful. Birds sung in the trees as the sun shone through the trees. Winds blew through the leaves, making them dance happily. It was a moment of serenity and peace. Naruto Baka. Until the voice of a banshee broke through the silence. Naruto held his ears. What now, Sakura? What did you do to Sasuke-kun? She demanded. Naruto narrowed his eyes at her, then turned to Kakashi. "Sensei, can we please start this training exercise?" "Yes, Naruto," Kakashi agreed. "Today, I will be teaching you how to climb trees." Sakura looked from Naruto to Kakashi, confused. "But sensei, we can already climb trees. Did I mention without the use of your hands?" Kakashi smiled. Sasuke and Sakura looked shocked. "No way," the banshee said. Kakashi made the ram seal before he placed one foot on the tree then another and began to walk up the tree until he was upside down on the first branch. Naruto rolled his eyes. "Sensei, Sasuke and I can do that already." Kakashi raised a skeptical eyebrow and Naruto sighed. He and Sasuke then began walking up the same tree until they were upright on the first branch. "Then I guess I'll teach you water walkie," Kakashi began. "We know it," Naruto snapped. "Forget this. Sasuke, Sasuke, let's go do some other training. Once you master this exercise, Sasuke, I'll show you some Kaiten jutsu you can practice." Sasuke nodded. Naruto and Sasuke jumped from the tree. "Wait, where are you going?" Kakashi asked, confused. He could understand if Naruto and Sasuke didn't want to do this cause they had it mastered. But Sasuke. "Sensei, you are a shit teacher," Naruto told him, and Kakashi's eye widened. "Tree walking and water walking are the basic of the basics in the shinobi world. You should have taught us this over the month of training and after that taught us some other jutsu. Maybe tested our elemental affinities. But instead you just taught us teamwork. Did you not think if we had matching affinities, we could increase the power of our jutsu?" Naruto asked, and Kakashi considered it. "I have a Suiton affinity. Sasuke has a Raiten affinity that we will be working on soon. Together, we could take out a lot of shinobi at once, but instead you are teaching us how to climb trees." He turned from his teacher. "I refuse to call you sensei any longer. Until such a time that you actually teach us, you will never be my sensei." He glanced back once more before giving him one final insult. "My father would be ashamed of you, Kakashi, as would Obito and Rin." Kakashi stumbled back, eye wide, as Naruto, Sasuke and Sasuke walked away. Sasuke threw a glare of her own at Kakashi, stopping for a moment. "He knows who his family is, Kakashi. And we know all about you. Naruto-kun is right. They would be disappointed to know you if they could see you now." With that she quickly followed after Naruto. Sasuke now stopped and looked at Kakashi. "In the end, you are like all the other villagers. I've seen how they look at him, I've noticed you look at him in the same way. I'll be telling Hokage-sama of your lack of teaching as soon as we are back. I hope we get a sensei who actually gives a damn. I don't need you to teach me how to use a Sharingan. Sasuke can help me more than you ever could." With that, Sasuke followed after his sister and her boyfriend. Kakashi fell to his knees, while Sakura looked confused. "Obito Rin sensei," Kakashi thought, sadly. "I fucked up big time. One who shapes the future." "Right," Naruto started. "Sasuke, the trick to tree climbing is simple. You channel chakra into your feet. Too little and you slip. Too much and the bark explodes. For now, just focus chakra into your feet until you reach a point that feels comfortable. Then try walking up the tree. Once you can walk to the top of the tree and back down, then try running. Keep it up until you can stand on the tree subconsciously, without even thinking." Sasuke nodded and placed his hands in the ram seal and began pushing chakra to his feet. He felt like he would slip with one amount, so he pumped more. He then felt like his feet would explode. He furrowed his brow in concentration. He started to take away small amounts of chakra until his feet felt comfortable. He then, slowly and carefully, placed one foot on the tree. It didn't burst. He lifted his other foot and placed it on the tree. He smiled but didn't lose concentration. He then, slowly began to walk up the tree. While he did that, Naruto looked to Sasuke. "Right, Saiyu-chan," Sasuke blushed at that. "We are gonna start your lightning manipulation training." He walked over to a tree and placed his hand on it. It wrinkled and burst beneath his touch. Sasuke's eyes widened. "Your first step is to make the tree wrinkle. The second is to make it burst after wrinkling. But your nature affinity isn't Raiten." Sasuke looked confused. "How are you so good at manipulation?" "I learned the basics of all nature manipulation," Naruto explained. "That way, if I ever need another jutsu for different manipulation, I can use it without too much trouble." Sasuke nodded, understanding his reasoning. She then walked to a different tree and placed a hand on it and began to channel her chakra. To her annoyance, the tree only wrinkled slightly. She growled and tried again, determined to get it right. Naruto chuckled as he watched his two students. Naruto thought. He had never thought of taking on students before, the thought had never occurred to him, and yet here he was, teaching two people he formerly hated as Bushin anyway, the basics of elemental manipulation and how to do tree walking. "Now I see," Naruto said to himself. "I can't see why Kakashi didn't teach us. It's an amazing feeling." Naruto then sat in the middle of the training grounds, his legs crossed. He made the ram seal and let his chakra flow freely. A small bit burst from him every so often, a shimmering white chakra. Sayuko stopped and looked over at him, smiling. Her smile faltered, however, when he opened his eyes. Just for an instant, too quick for people to usually see, his eyes were no longer their usual sky blue. The whites of his eyes were black, and his pupils had become a silver, 8-pointed pinwheel. "Naruto-kun," Sayuko called, and Naruto looked at her. "What was that with your eyes?" Naruto was inwardly shocked, but didn't show it. "What are you talking about?" Sayuko frowned, but didn't detect his lie. She figured it was probably a dojutsu that he had unlocked, but not yet realized it. Nothing, was just imagining things. She went back to her training, but never let the image of those eyes fade from her mind. Naruto was worried. He hadn't ever expected her to see that and was hoping she really did brush it off as her imagination. He may have really liked her, but he couldn't let anyone know of his eyes. He then closed his eyes again, but kept chakra flow away from his eyes as he meditated. He remembered Kurama's words to him when he first started using his chakra, a little while after they began his training. Chakra reflects the personality, she had told him. Yours is no exception. Naruto frowned. He didn't know what that meant. He didn't even know what his personality was actually like. He acted like he did, but it was mostly a mask. Just for a minute, when he was practicing with Yamato, his true personality had shown through. But he didn't know what his personality was, which was odd. While Naruto thought of this, Kurama was in a secluded area where even Naruto couldn't hear her. She was curled up in a corner, tears falling down her beautiful face. "Why does it hurt?" she whimpered, her voice sounding more human. "Whenever I see Naruto with Sayuko, my chest clenches and I feel upset. Why do I?" She wiped away her tears. "Why do I feel like Naruto is being taken from me? Why do I want to hold him close to me and never let go?" She opened her eyes and looked up, the image of the silver-haired devil smiling at her and offering a hand before her. "Why do I feel so sad without you, Naruto-kun?" The end. So how was this part? I hope you like it. And if you like it, share this part with your friends and like the video too. And don't forget to subscribe our channel for daily awesome fanfiction. Okay, it's time for me to go. Bye bye.